Late last year, our friends at Alliance Defending Freedom filed a first-of-its-kind lawsuit in which 4 national medical associations, as well as 4 doctors who care for pregnant and post-abortive women, sued the Food and Drug Administration for illegally approving chemical abortion drugs that harm girls and women. The Family Research Council will also submit an amicus brief in support of the lawsuit. Joining me now to discuss it all is Chris Gacek, FRC's Senior Fellow for Regulatory Affairs. He also authored this amicus brief for FRC, and he joins us now. Chris, welcome back to the show.
It's good to be with you, Joseph.
So tell us, in layman's terms, what's going on here?
Well, this is actually a pretty exciting development, the litigation itself, which is brought by a doctors group called the Alliance for Hippocratic Medicine. And Alliance Defending Freedom is, they're handling the legal side of it. And so it's a very good group. It's very knowledgeable in the medicine and the law. So these folks have filed a lengthy brief that represents 20 years, at least 25 years of work and knowledge about mifepristone, that's the abortion drug, the abortion regimen, and all of the adverse events that come with it, and all of the problems that are associated with the approval of the drug. And
Chris?
So, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, help me understand this, because this drug was approved, I understand, in 2000.
Right.
Right. So this has been in the market for a long time.
Right.
What happened that we are just now 23 years later, 22 years later, I guess, if it was filed last year, just now filing this lawsuit?
Well, one of the things I want to say about this is that the point that I was trying to make was that these doctors have been following and objecting to this to the drug, to the process by which it was approved since 2000. They were always being, sort of rejected, kind of, blown off by FDA. And every time there was a sort of a re-upping of the drug application when the company sought from FDA to reduce safety precautions, and this happened in 2016, and it happened again recently. Then the clock was reset on whether or not you could litigate against the original approval. Okay. And so in this last approval, where you have and this was sort of going on for a year, where the drug could be released to pharmacies. Anyway, what basically happened is that opened up the ability to do this, and then Dobbs coincidentally happened. This did not happen because of Dobbs.
Okay. Now, apparently the allegations are that these drugs were, the appropriate process was not used to approve these drugs. If this lawsuit prevails, would this just remove chemical abortion drugs from the market?
That would be the ultimate objective, yes. And the point is that the original approval and these subsequent ones were granted without authority, without legal basis, because the process was corrupt. And in our brief, what we filed was basically talking to the political nature of the process and and how that sort of played out when the drug was considered by the Clinton administration. Let me just say one thing: the Clinton administration had this. It was like Bill Clinton's, like if you're older, it's Manhattan Project or Operation Warp Speed. The biggest thing that they had in their administration almost was getting abortion pills to market in the United States, and it had already been approved in France. So there was this massive effort, and it turned out when we were looking through the documents again recently, it was basically the government was doing this and pulling all of the negotiating strings to get the French company to hand over its property rights, intellectual property rights. Then they ended up having to almost stand up a drug company there was a lot of process. Sure. And so, but it was all being engineered by the government. And then at the very end in 2000, we sort of bring this out, when they didn't want to live up to their safety commitments and things like this. The objections in the agency were basically rolled over.
And given the nature of the issue, it certainly seems plausible that they would have broken some rules in getting this drug to market. But this lawsuit is about a specific drug, mifepristone, I understand.
Which is also RE46. Some people know it that way.
How many abortion drugs are there? So if this was taken off the market, are there others that people would just default to instead? Or does this just eliminate the ability to get a chemical abortion?
There's only one. There could be off-label use. I mean, in the 1990s, there was a chemotherapy drug, methotrexate, that was used. There might be other. There's one other drug that might be a possible substitute that could be used in an off-label way. But no, it is basically the only drug that's been approved for use as an abortifacient in the United States.
We are running short on time,
yep.
But to that, if there's only one drug and the hope of this lawsuit is to take that off the market because it failed to follow the appropriate approval process in the first place, is there hope that it would not be successful in being approved appropriately? Or do you think that the federal government would just, back up and then just run it through again, jump over a few additional hoops and then get it back into the market?
There could be all kinds of shenanigans, but you'd have to do it the right way, and that's sort of the point here. I just want to say one quick thing. They need discovery about the original process, and that's a big part of what the suit is about, getting in the federal records.
Well, this is a very interesting case because, as we know, post-Dobbs, even before Dobbs, chemical abortion was on the rise. Since Dobbs, even more so, the abortion industry is dependent upon it. The idea that we could get this off the market is promising and exciting, to be sure. Chris Gacek, thanks for coming to tell us about it today.
You're welcome.